Okay, so I was just going to have this type across the page, but it's being a pain, so I'm going to add audio on it. So this is the tutorial on how I make my AMVs using AVS Video Editor. I can't talk. Okay, using AVS Video Editor 6.3. So once you open up the AVS Video Editor, you're going to want to go to your Media Library tab. This will open up a clean storyboard to work with. Now we want to import some media so we can actually have something to work with. You do this by going to the import button at the top left-hand corner, and you find the file that you want to use. I start with just using the music video file, so I'm just going to get the music file on right now. We'll get the videos later. So now that you have your music file, you want to scroll down on the storyboard until you find the audio line, the main audio line. It's the second to the bottom. And then you just click and drag your music file onto that line. And you want to be careful, because if you just click and drag and just throw it down anywhere like what I just did right there, you'll have this gap between the start of your video and the start of your music. So you want to make sure that you pull it over snug to the left-hand side of the line. Now you want to lock the music line in place, because if you don't, when you bring the video files down, the music will be pushed over to the end of the video file, and if you just bring the music back to the front after that, it can get chopped up. When you start splitting up the scenes out of the file, the video file, the music will get chopped up too. So we want to make sure that we lock that. And now we go to import the videos. You can import more than one video at one time, but for now I'm just going to import the one video for this tutorial at the moment. So when you open up the import thing again, it'll bring you to the folder that you imported the last file from. So unless you have your music in the same folder that you have your videos, you have to go and find the right folder that you have your videos in. Like, I don't have my music and my videos in the same folder. So now you've imported your video. Now you want to drag it down to the storyboard. You don't have to scroll up to get to the main video line. It is at the top, but it's locked so that it follows you whenever you scroll. So you always have the main video line in view. So just go up, click and drag the video file down to the main video file line, which is always that top first one right there. So when you drag the first video file down onto your main video line, you'll get this pop-up. All that this does is, if you click yes, it changes the aspect ratio of the video you're creating, so it's the same as the file's ratio that you just put into the storyboard. For the files that I use, I found that doesn't make a difference whether I make the aspect ratio the same or not, so I just click no. And I apologize for all the pixelation on this video. The aspect ratio of this particular thing was off and I was too lazy to fix it. So now that you have your video file there, it's the entire episode with sound, and you don't necessarily want the video sound playing over the music sound, especially not for an AMV. So we're going to, before we do anything else, we're going to mute the sound, and you do that by right-clicking on the video file on your storyboard, and it'll pop up with this little menu, and you just want to click mute. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're just gonna scroll through and look for scenes that we want to use. Normally I'll listen to the song a little bit before I start looking for scenes so that I have an idea of what I'm looking for. So we're just gonna play the video and listen to it a bit. Sometimes what happens are what I like to call happy accidents. They're things that you don't really mean to do, but you like how it turns out, so you kind of leave it there. How Lucy showed up at that moment in the video after Natsu's big head scene. I liked how that showed up, so that's what I would call a happy accident. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna split off that scene, and I'm gonna do that by moving this bar on the storyboard to the beginning of the scene, and then you use the split tool, which is the very first button on your toolbar above the storyboard on the left hand side. It looks like a broken blue bar with a green arrow over it. So you just click that and it'll split the beginning, then you scroll down to the end of that scene, click it again, and it splits off from the end. And then I'm just going to delete Natsu's big head because that will be no use to me in this video. And now we're gonna scroll through for a sort of intro for before that Lucy scene, little Lucy scene. And once we find that, we're just gonna split it off like we did the other one and move it to the front. And you can click and drag it to the front, or what I normally do is I just right click on that scene that I just split off, and you'll look, there's an option that says move left, and I just click on that until I get it to the position where I want it. Or if you want to move it right, there's a move right option. So now we'll play it and see if we like what we got. This has it's a process of a lot of trial and error. I don't really like the timing of that, so I'm just going to shorten the beginning of that clip. And how you do that is you just grab a hold, click on the left hand side of the clip, that little yellow bar on the left hand side, you click on that, and to shorten it, you're going to pull it in towards the center of the clip. If you wanted to make it longer, you would click drag and drag it outward away from the clip. So we'll play that again and see if we like it. And you just kind of keep messing with it until you get something that you like. So see, I don't like that timing right there, so just gonna edit that a bit more. See how I pulled it out away this time? That makes it longer. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna import a picture. I want to put a transition between those two scenes using what I call black screen. It's a picture of a black square. It's just a black screen. So I'm just gonna go to my import and pictures and select my black screen. Now we're just going to drag it down to between those two scenes, and it's really helpful when you're editing videos like this to zoom in on the storyboard, and you can do this two ways. There's an actual zoom tool on the toolbar, the far right hand end of the toolbar. You can use that to zoom, but what I find is more effective is if you just hover your cursor over the ruler above your storyboard, above your main video line. Click on that and you can drag it left to zoom out or right to zoom in. So we're going to just zoom in on that so that we can adjust the black screen and our scenes and get the transition that we want.